everybody. I bet there's one or two of you out there already. We just came from TikTok. No love over there today. I usually get 400 or 500 people consecutively. I dropped to 13. It was very embarrassing. You know?
What happened?
I don't know. It's like, it reminded me of REO Speedwagon played at our national sales meeting one year, and I felt so embarrassed for them, like secondhand embarrassment, you know, because like in the 70s and 80s they're playing big arenas, and now here it is like 2001 and they got to play a stupid sales meeting for like 1,500 drunk salesmen, you know what I mean? And now I know how they felt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, Ethan?
Yeah.
Come on over here, Ethan. Say hello to our what you call it, our YouTube fans. There are 14 of them.
14.
Yeah. Say hello to them?
Yeah.
Come on, get your face in there. We'll shut the music off. I need a way to fade. I need a way to fade that out. That hard cut, that ain't no good. We're working all this out, you know? We're practicing as we go. There you are, Ethan. This is Ethan. He's our worker. What you been doing all day, Ethan?
Building boxes and making pictures.
See them boxes? And why do we build them boxes?
You can send out amazing tropical fruit.
That's right. If they want it, where do they get it?
Guacfarm.com.
GUACFARM.com. Back to work with you, Ethan. And if you're Mexican and you're mad because I hired a kid named Ethan, he's Mexican. Are you Mexican?
Yes, I'm Mexican.
Mexicans are always yelling at me. Whenever I introduce Ethan. Ethan? Yeah. I mean, you could be Mexican and named Ethan, right? Frankly, I feel you're accusing me of racism. I don't know, there's a little boomerang thing going on there. You're just assuming something just because the kid's named Ethan, right?
Yeah.
What's your middle name?
Cruz.
Cruz. His middle name is Cruz. There. C-R-U-Z?
Yep.
Yeah, there. See? I won't say your last name because then people will dox you. You know, you're a minor. How old are you?
I'm 16.
He's a minor. We don't want them doxing him, you know what I mean? But let's see who. Oh, Turkey Point Sirens is here. You know who that is?
Nope.
That's Clark.
Oh!
The first one here. What's up, Clark? Clark, I've been loving. I'm part of the Siren community, Clark. So, Turkey Point Sirens, before we get into the fruit, we got a collection of fruit here. We got some citrus. I don't give two shits about the citrus. We just needed some color. We didn't grow this. This is from the grocery store. Because all I have right now is this one avocado that lingered. I found it hiding on a tree.
Where?
It was on one of the choquette trees out there somewhere. So we picked it and brought it in. We were given a tour. Remember, we gave one to the people from Nevis.
Okay.
We found 2 avocados. We gave one to them and we kept one because I want to try to eat it, but usually when they're this late in the season, they're yucky. And then we added a little bit of color. So we're going to, on these live streams, we talk about fruit. And if you're new here, we sell our fruit at guacfarm.com, GUACFARM.com. And in fact, Clark, your mom helped me fill a lot of orders when we had a hard time, when Noe was sick and we had a house fire and things we were kind of, you know, not quite stable. Your mom helped us fill a lot of orders. But anyways, if you guys want some very interesting content, Turkey Point Sirens has me in this siren community, and I love it. I love it. They go around to different sirens and like videotape them and stuff like that and play them, and then there's like a siren conference, but it's like in Kansas or something. But if it was in Fort Lauderdale, I'd be there. And Clark, I want to tell you about something, because I brought this up with my brother and my dad and my uncle last night. Where I grew up is very small. Like my town had 60,000 people, and we were like the city. But when you started going up the mountain or like out the valley a little bit, you got to little towns. And I first lived till I was 6 years old in a small town called Archibald. I think the population is about 6,000. Someone Google it. Archibald, Pennsylvania. ARCHBALD, PA. What's the population? I'm going to say about 6,000. But anyways, right across the street from my grandmother's house was the firehouse. She lived on one block. This was the next block over. So you cross the street, there were some houses, then the firehouse, okay? Every night at 9 o'clock, they blew off the 9 o'clock whistle. Did I ever tell you about the 9 o'clock whistle? Okay.
No.
The 9 o'clock whistle is like one of them old-fashioned American things.
That is so cool.
Because back then we didn't have cell phones. Hell, we didn't even have phones, right? I mean, we did when I was a kid, but like my grandmother's generation, a lot of people didn't even have phones. And you certainly didn't have a phone on the job, like if you were a house painter or working in a factory or something like that. And so if there was a fire, they'd blow the whistle. Or like an air raid, but we didn't have air raids in Pennsylvania. But you know, that World War II era, and it was one of those whistles that started out like, and it would, you'd feel it in your nuts. Like it would shake the house, like you'd hear the windows like zzz, zzz, from the vibration. And it would hit this high pitch and just be like, and if you were on the front porch, you had to block your ears. But I wouldn't, because I loved it.
Really?
And that fucking, it would fill you up. And that's how they would test it every night at 9 o'clock. And then the moms would also say, come home when you hear the whistle. That's when the kids would
So
come
it
home.
was the thing, at 9 p.m.?
Every day.
Every day, Monday to Sunday?
Every day. And Clark, I think you would love it. Yeah.
You never, how long were you going to be there?
30 years.
You never told me that?
I just remembered it. I just remembered it. I just remembered it when I was looking at Clark's video. And I texted my brother, you know, and my uncle and my dad, and we were talking about it last night. And that's what the volunteer firemen would do. So like there was codes, like if it chimed, you know, if it went like 3 times, like wee, that might have meant there was a fire. If it went 2 times, that might have meant there was a flood. You know what I mean? To evacuate. I don't know the exact. But if you were like a volunteer fireman, that meant drop what you're doing, go to the firehouse, and then deploy and fight the fire. And then they would test it every night. So Clark, you would love that. I'm so glad you're here. He probably left. He probably didn't even hear any of this, you know. Teenagers don't have long attention spans.
But I loved it.
But anyways, Clark, if you didn't see it, I'll send you. But anyways, Clark has introduced me to this siren community, and these people have, like the sirens are 6 feet high. They have them in their backyards. They use them to play music and all kinds of stuff. I think they're so cool. So like, I'm not part of the community, but I feel an affinity. Like the vampires, they have familiars. They're not vampires, but they hang around. I'm like a siren familiar.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, but I know what's going on. Like we had a horrible loss of a poor guy that had a car accident. And there's some good drama in that community, like any community. In fact, if you have a hobby, the best way to ruin it is like join the community, especially online. Like we were mountain bikers, right? How fucking toxic was like the Facebook mountain bike pages?
Horrible.
Just a bunch of fucking assholes.
They were
Take
mean.
all the fun out of the
No.
sport. You know what I mean?
They were mean. They were really mean.
Yeah. I used to do an April Fool's Day joke every year.
What
Like
was it?
I'd make up some ridiculous thing like the state of Florida is going to donate 10,000 orange trees and we're going to plant them along the trails.
Did they leave you?
But they say you're not allowed to eat the oranges, and then everyone would get real mad.
Oh my God.
But then there'd always be some asshole that's like, look at your calendar, see what day it, like, don't ruin the fucking joke. Like what, if I lit a campfire, are you gonna walk up and piss all over it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like they'd have to ruin the joke. Every year there was, finally one guy ruined it like 2 years in a row. The 3rd year I said, look, I'm doing my April Fool's joke, don't fucking ruin it, I told him. And the guy was a PhD, you'd think he'd know better.
I think I know what
No, I'll tell you later off air.
that was.
In
Okay.
case it cares, because I like the guy, but I hated that he would do that.
Okay.
Well, how many PhDs were there in the mountain bike group? I mean, if anyone knows, they know who I'm talking about. But he would ruin my joke every year. Anyways, if you're looking to get any of this fruit, this is what the mamey looks like inside. It's got this beautiful salmon-colored flesh. Kind of a vanilla almond, sweet potato pie, little splash of cherry flavor in there. This is the Magana variety. Coming up next in the month of April, we have the Lorito, which is much more fruity, has more of a cherry tropical punch to it, and a vibrant, blood red, bright red flesh. And the skin, as you can see here, the skin's kind of like wood. What the hell, am I got a spider? The skin's kind of like wood, and you know, it kind of like comes off like powder. The Lorito variety is like sandpaper. It's like an old-fashioned, like they had them swimming casts, like that could, like a waterproof cast before they, you know, no one gets a cast anymore. They have braces with Velcro, but in the old days they'd wrap us up in casts. And it's kind of like the waterproof cast. You can sand with it. It's very rough. And then starting in like May or June, we have the Key West variety. Again, super fruity variety. And so if you wanted to get some of these, go to guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. Use promo code LIVE, and you'll get 10% off them on May. We're also pre-selling avocados, but like, it's not like we run out of avocado. It's not like you need to get on the list. You can buy them now if you want to, or you can wait till avocado season and start buying them. But that's guacfarm.com. Oh, and also, like, if you hit the gym, what do you think? No, for real, like, these shirts, you know, unfortunately, whatever you don't like about your physique, like, I'm not so happy with this area right now, is also going to show. But, like, when you go to the gym and get a pump, like, people know when you're wearing a Sleepy Lizard t-shirt. We also sell those at guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. Thank you. Thanks, honey. I mean, it's hard to feel like I'm looking good when you see our son.
Oh my God.
He's been on a 90-day cut. Ethan, how fucking fit is Tommy right now? I mean, that's crazy, ain't it?
Crazy,
Should
right?
I show them?
You could show them, yeah, you could show them. Yeah, go ahead and show them. That kid is fit.
It's fit.
Yeah, who do we got out here? I'm ignoring the, Young YKZ is back. Who else we got? Let's see here. So anyways, Turkey Point, I'm so happy you're here. Alex is here, and Alex, I did get your email. You must have sent it last night. I mean, we're in two very different time zones. You're halfway on the other side of the world. Clinton Regis says hello. Hi, Clinton. How you doing? Oh, Greater Goods out there. How you doing, buddy? Is it pouring rain up where you are? What do you think for the trees? I know you're a big mango guy, and mangoes don't like a lot of water, but I'm happy to get this refreshing rain for a day or so. MGTV9G something blah 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 says hello. Greater Good wants a party. And then, oh, okay, Madison's the one who said she's back. Her name is different. Well, hey, we'll take you however we can get you, Madison. Okay, go ahead, you can show them. Thank you for coming.
This is what he looks like. You see if it, can they see it?
Jesse Smith says hi. Hi back to you, Jesse. I'll tell you in a second. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so like, you know, he's got that narrow waist and all the gut and stuff, and that's like 4 weeks ago.
That was 4
You can
weeks
move
ago.
that picture now. He's even more cut now. Just when I think I'm looking good, Ethan, then he walks around, you know?
He walks around without shirt.
And he thinks it's like 1978 when like going out shirtless was a look.
Yes.
You put one of those plastic like New York Yankee baseball helmets you'd get free at like helmet day at Yankee Stadium, you know? When they play like the fucking Red Sox or something,
Yeah.
you just slap a helmet on and no shirt and drive around in your fucking, what would you drive? God, I don't even know. A Gremlin or something, you know? Maybe an old Bronco.
Tell me about the gym. What did he want to do in the gym the other day?
Yeah, he asked the manager, could he walk around with his shirt off? And then he asked me to get him bronzer, and I drew the line there. I was like, you gotta get your own, like if you're gonna go on stage, then yeah, you need a spray tan, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, I see.
if you ain't going on stage, that's just vanity.
It is.
Yeah. He has a girlfriend. Okay, Madison. Madison fixed her name. We're good. Clinton Regis. Oh, sending love from Lucia. We had a couple here from the Caribbean, from Nevis. I don't know what St. Kitts, I think they said. I don't know if that's by where you guys are. Of course, everyone from the Caribbean are huge tropical fruit lovers. And
We love him.
yeah, I mean, we have so many people visit the farm, and they're so knowledgeable about tropical fruit. Alex, it's 10:30 p.m. and he's got school, so he's going to go to sleep soon. You take care of yourself. Alex is a responsible young man over there in Europe. Rom 12, my dear Sleepy Lizards, he's following us from Switzerland, and he's waiting for the day we ship our lovely fruit over there. I'll tell you what, Rom, I wish I could, because I would trade you for chocolate.
Oh my God, yes.
I've been to Switzerland once, and it was only changing planes. I used to go to Germany a lot for my job, and normally I'd fly like Frankfurt to Miami, but this particular flight, and it was Swiss Air, and it went through Switzerland. And if I could, listen, I don't ever want to get on another airplane as long as I live. Because I had 2 million miles on American, 1 million miles on Delta. I've flown all over the place. I was on planes 3 or 4 times a week for 20 years. So if I never see an airplane again, I'll be happy. However, you might get me on a plane if it's Swiss Air. Because it was awesome. And I wasn't even first class. Normally I flew first class, but I didn't have to on Swiss Air. The cabin is almost like first class. And the flight attendants took such good care of me. And we came out of, I think, Munich into not, you got the 2 big cities over there in Switzerland, whatever. And I remember how beautiful the countryside was and how organized everything was in the airport. And they had these chocolates with like gold wrappers. I felt like Charlie in the chocolate factory, like, you know, like I'm smelling it, I'm trying to make it last. You know, little Oompa Loompas are running around the house. Yeah, it was awesome. I like Switzerland. So, Swiss Air to Switzerland, I might make it. Don't get any fucking ideas now. Start working me like to take a European vacation to Switzerland.
No, I'm not thinking of anything.
Just don't think that's like a weakness. Like
if I go, I go myself.
yeah, like you always do.
I will never do that.
Greater Good picked his last Lula on March 10th. He found it when he was pruning the canopy. So March 10th, that was 5 days ago, Greater. Has it softened up and were you able to eat it? We found this choquette on like Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday.
I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah. And now it's Sunday and I can just feel it's just starting to soften a little. But my experience has been 90 to 100 days after picking date is good. These things we started picking the last week of December, January, February, March. It's been 6 months. It's twice what I would normally leave a fruit on the tree. The last time I did this, I made a video, I took a bite, and I actually threw up. And people thought I was just acting, hamming it up for the camera. No. If you leave your avocado on the tree too long, it rots. And that, you know, I tell people all the time, avocados do not ripen on the tree. You have to pick them. They're climacteric. You have to pick them, and they finish ripening on your kitchen counter. That's why avocados in the grocery store are rock hard. We pick them, and it's just natural. Avocados, they don't ripen on the tree. And people, I don't know why, they want to lie. They want to go into the comments and be like, I pick avocados off the tree and eat them all the time. No, you don't. Like, your teeth would break. It'd be like biting into a billiard ball, right? So here's an avocado at Choquette. I could have picked this on like September 27th. I really could have picked it on like September 13th. Because normally our pick date, you know, is about 2 weeks later than when they're actually ripe. So we're just on the safe side. It's been October, December, January, February, March. We're in March. So 6 months. This still ain't soft or edible. This did not ripen on the tree. Avocados don't ripen. Makes me mad. All right, who else do we got out here? Alex is working on his database presentation for tomorrow. Well, don't let me distract you too much, Bubba. Charger, believe me, dude, we've been getting the rain. It woke me up at 3:45. My son, like, it was heavy, like coming down heavy. And my son was up till 2, and he said it had just started to rain when he fell asleep. So we're going on, what, 15 hours of rain now? But I'll take it, because we've had nothing since rainy season. Nothing. And you know, with that frost and stuff, maybe just give these trees a little drink, help these flowers out. And except for at 3:45 when it really came down hard. With mangoes in flowering season and also avocado, I'll take an all-day light rain over a drenching rain, because I don't want to knock the flowers off the tree.
Of course.
Right? Let's see. Monkey Bio Mellow. Monkey Boy Mellow. You just bought 3 mango trees from Julie's Tropical Plants today. Well, Monkey, tell us, what varieties did you get? We don't just leave us hanging. Slick Scoop says hi. How you doing, Slick Scoop? Greater Good's getting his rain. Madison. Oh, she knows Julie's Tropical. All right, man, that's cool. That's where Madison gets them. Fantastic. Yep, they're raining in Kendall. Jermaine Anderson says hi. Slick Scoop is in zone 10B and he's getting some rain. I saw a forecast. There's another cold weather alert, but like for northern Florida, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Hopeful Green Thumb's son's birthday is today. Getting ready to head out. Oh, they're gonna miss the thing. Sorry about that. But anyways, happy birthday, Joey.
Happy birthday.
26 years old. That's a good age. Your insurance drops. You're over 25. Your car insurance will go down. Slick Scoop, will this monsoon help the little mangoes on the panicles grow? You know, I really don't know. You know, we don't water our mature mangoes. If I've got them in a pot, where's that one? Where's that mango plant? Oh, it's over there, whatever.
You want it?
Yeah, you can get it, yeah. When they're in pots, we water them. And when I put them in the ground, if it doesn't rain for 3 or 4 days, we water them. You know, so if it's in a pot like this, I'll feel the soil. And if it's dry, I'll water it. But I might water it like every 7 to 10 days. We don't really give a lot of water to our mango. And also, like with all them flowers on the panicle, I really don't like a storm. I don't like wind, I don't like rain. One year we had hail, and we had a shitty crop that year. We suspect the hail knocked all the flowers down, you know. So I don't know if it's good or not, but I don't think it's gonna be bad, because we haven't had any rain since Christmas, really. We might have got one substantial rainstorm since Christmas. And so, you know, I'll take a little rain. Plus the avocados can handle it, you know, which is nice. So I don't think it'll be good or bad for the mango. Maybe it'll be a little bit good, you know, because maybe they've been stressed and working hard, recovering from the freeze and frost, you know, producing this second wave of flowers that we're getting. So I don't know, maybe a little drink will help out. But, you know, I'm thinking like a human being. Like if I was out working all day and sweating, I'd want to drink the water. I really don't know. Charger Mopar, the carnivore community is good people though. Yeah, I agree with you. And I love your live streams about the carnivore community. Do you eat the meat raw or do you cook it? Let's see. Oh, I'm way behind on the chat here. So Hopeful Green Thumb, happy birthday, Joey. Enjoy it. You just transplanted a pot-bound mamey tree and it seems to have survived. That's great. You know the variety of mamey, Mopar, Charger? Alex, mamey would still be like 10 or 20 times out of your budget. Yeah, but you're like 17 years old, dude. Nothing's in your budget. Rubber Chicken, why can't you send product to California? Oh, I'm so sorry, Rubber Chicken, that you tried to order and you got blocked. Yes. That's a problem. The state of California will not allow us to ship fruit or plant material from Florida. The California Department of Agriculture has a quarantine on fruit and plant material from the state of Florida. Now, I had an exemption for avocado only. I filled out forms, I got approved, I went through inspections, everything was great, and I had about 3 years where I could sell to California, and then in October they informed me I can no longer do it. Which was a bummer because I had to go through a lot of that nonsense that, you know, in order to be able to ship to California. We had to change the way we do our packaging and everything because, you know, California's special. And then they just booted me anyway, you know. And so you try to follow all their rules and then they just go and change the rules. They love their rules there in California. A lot of rules in California.
I know.
A lot of rules over there in California. Actually, I was talking to an avocado farmer the other day in California who wants to start a website. We have a website, I don't know if I mentioned it, guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. That's where we sell this fruit. You get it in a box that looks just like that. Also the hats and the shirts. We got some stickers too. And this guy was like, hey, you know, you seem to have some success online and social media and you got a lot of followers and stuff like that. And I was like, where's this going, you know? I didn't want him like hitting on me or something, you know what I'm saying? Not that I care, I just don't want to let the guy down. You know what I mean? I'm into chicks and I'm married, you know? So, but it wasn't that.
It wasn't
No,
that?
it was a business card.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I can help you out. I'll like cross promote his, especially I'm happy to promote a farm in California so at least my California customers can go to him to get their avocados since I can't sell them anymore. And I don't need to make him money. I don't need to have my beak wet, you know. He doesn't need to cut me a slice of that, you know. And we were talking, he's like, well, what do we need to do to make it official? I'm like, we just have to say yes to each other on the phone, that's it.
Okay.
He's like, well, don't I have to like sign anything or fill anything out? I'm like, no. And he's like, well, like, but if we're gonna be doing business together, blah, 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 and I'm like, I'm gonna make a YouTube video and I'm gonna shout out your website. He's like, well, I'm just used to it over here in California. He has to take a class to be a farmer, like an online class with it. Then he has to take a class specifically to be an avocado grower.
No.
He has to take a food handling class.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then he has to go to like worker safety classes, and you gotta pay for all this shit, and you gotta redo it every year.
That sucks.
They love them rules over there. They love them rules over there, you know? I was like, oh, here, you just dig a hole and put a tree in the ground, you're an avocado farmer.
That's it.
Might be a shitty one, but you're an avocado farmer.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry I can't sell to you guys. I'd love to sell to you. How much do we love our California
Oh my
customers?
God, we love them.
Right?
They're the best.
Yeah.
They're very passionate.
Very passionate. They'd give me feedback. They would try the different. Oh my God, I'm not gonna say her name, but we follow her on YouTube too. Wonderful woman, and she bought every single variety, and she asked me to recommend other farms that sold varieties we don't sell, and tasted every variety of avocado she could get her hands on, and then the following year, she knew what she wanted to plant. And now her YouTube channel is about planting, you know, her garden out, but I don't know if she wants me talking about her. So I'm always reluctant unless people give me a green light, or if they piss me off, then I'll talk about them. But she's like a sweet, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
single woman, so, you know. So anyways, yeah, brain fried fish nose. California doesn't allow fresh fruit from Florida. Oh, Barra Boy is from Australia. How you doing, Barra Boy? I listen to an Australian every day, Robbie McEwen. I watch cycling, and you know, they'd be doing these races over in Europe, and so that's when I'm kind of getting ready in the morning. That's what I have in the background, and I love Robbie because he knows the racing. You know, and he's like tough, like he was a tough racer. Like some of the commentators are sort of like effeminate Brits, and they're like, oh, he's in a spot of bother. Oh, today we are, you know, like they turn it into this like fruity thing, you know. But Robbie's a fucking warrior, you know. And when there's a crash, Robbie will be like, oh, that's gonna sting tomorrow. And the other Brits are like, oh, I hope nobody's hurt. It's like they're gonna cry, you know what I mean? But I like Robbie. In fact, if Robbie ain't on, I'll either try to find Italians, and I can't understand a word they're saying, but they're good, you know? They're like, what do they say? Say what they say. She speaks Italian.
I do.
Yeah. They say like, Otto della pista, la da da duta. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, la da da duta is what it sounds like. Charge part has the build of a palm tree. You are a very tall man and extremely flexible. I don't know how you could be that tall and that flexible. Greater Good would never put a sweet potato in a shake, but mame is an amazing tropical flavor for shakes. You're so right. Clinton Regis, you have lots of tropical fruits over there. Greater Good, Willy Wonka. Okay, yeah, I'm way behind. Holy crap, I'm so far behind. I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, Greater Good never experienced a tree ripened avocado in 66 years because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as pulling an avocado off a tree and eating it. Like I say, this one's 90 days past. I'm sure when this does soften and I open up, the seed's going to have all roots coming out the bottom. It's going to have a shoot coming out the top, and it's going to make me yak. And you guys are going to get to see that. Okay, Dylan Carney K50 asks a very common question. I get this question a lot. How come we graft avocados instead of doing air layering when wanting a clone? And I'm going to answer your question, but the question I have back for you guys, that I'll have this question, why do you ask that? Do you feel like air laying is better? Do you feel like it's easier? But let me explain why we do grafting. You know, get that tree again, so we can explain to the other viewers here what a graft is. So what he's talking about is when we grow trees, we grow a little bitty tree out of from a seed, and that's what this little nub here, from here to here. Okay, that's a seed-grown tree, probably from a turpentine variety mango, just here to my finger. okay? Hang on. Okay. Can you hold this stick out of the way?
Sure.
Okay. So, where this green tape is, right? From here to here is a seed-grown tree. And then I don't know the name of the type of graft they did, but they cut an angle. They came in at a 45-degree angle, put a cut in this little tree. And then they took a cutting from a tree, a mango tree of the fruit punch. Okay, this is a known variety. They took a little cutting from a live tree, like that big maybe, and put an angle cut, and then wrap it up with tape. And what you wind up with is you plant a tree inside a tree. This one is, no, just right there on the table.
Okay.
It's the same as like, when you come home with a bag of Granny Smith apples, they all taste the same.
Mm-hmm.
But it's unlikely they were all grown on the same tree. Well, if someone planted a bunch of Granny Smith apples, that bag of apples, they're not all gonna taste the same. One might taste good, the rest might be bland, and two might taste shitty, right? So this is how we get consistency. We clone our trees. We don't just plant a seed and see what it gave us. When you plant a seed, it's like having a baby. You don't know what you're gonna get. You hope for the best, right? And odds are you're gonna get an average, you're gonna create an average human being. That's what average is, right? Most of us are average. But when you're selling stuff, you don't wanna sell average, you wanna sell above average, right? And so whenever we find something that's above average, like a fruit punch, we graft it. The technique he's talking about is instead of taking that cutting and planting a tree inside of a tree, we have a process where we can strip the bark and we paint rooting hormone on the wood underneath the bark. And then we wrap it in moss and seal it up so no moisture gets in there. You wait a few months. When you unseal it, that rooting hormone, that little section that you cut the bark open, has roots coming out of it. You then snip the branch, you take the rest of that branch, stick it in a pot, and you let that pot grow. The question is, why do we do this? Why do we graft trees rather than air layer, which is the process I just talked about? First of all, with this technique, you get a taproot. A taproot is the main root that comes out of the bottom of the seed. That's the strongest root. That's the highway. That's the aorta. That's the way, well, no, this aorta would be more of a cardiovascular. That's the esophagus. That's the way nutrients get into the tree, right? And without a taproot, you still have them little roots and the tree will get nutrients, but it's not going to grow as fast and it's not going to be anchored to the ground as strong as if you have a taproot. Also, we're in South Florida. What do we get in South Florida? Hurricanes. What do we grow in down here in way South Florida? Solid rock. So we need like a beefed up, insanely strong root system. Okay, that's number one. Number two, to air layer, you're preparing the air layers. It takes a couple months on the tree, where you also have fruit on the tree growing, right? And so for avocado, for example, I could take a cutting this long and snip it into like 5 or 6 little grafts and graft like 5 or 6 trees off of one cutting, right? Well, if I'm air layering, I have to dedicate that branch to the air layer, then I have to cut it and plant the whole branch because there's only one set of roots. Well, I could have got 5 or 6 more. Okay, now let's talk about mango. Okay, mango, you could do bud grafting, or I forget the exact name of it, but like every one of these where like little buds come out, you can graft like that much. And so from one cutting of mango, you can get a few dozen mango trees. Again, if you were air layering it, you're only going to get one. But it's also going to be, you're going to be doing it while the fruit's on the tree. And then what do? When the roots sprout, do you cut the branch off? And what about the fruit that might be on the tree that's not ripe yet? There's a lot of reasons why we do grafting. So it's an excellent question, and I hope I was able to answer it. Give me a little feedback. You know if I answered your question for you.
Can I ask you a question about what you just said?
Yes.
It's super interesting.
Yeah.
What's easier, like for success? You know what I'm asking? Like air layer or grafting? What would you?
We did our mulberries via
I
air layer.
remember that, so I'm
Certain species of fruit tree don't want to graft. So like lychee, we air layer. Longan, we air layer. Mulberry, we air layer. low quad, wide air layer, I don't know how other people do it. What was your question?
Like what's easier, like.
Oh,
the-
okay, my
success.
success rate with air layering is much higher.
That's what I'm asking,
Yeah.
okay, you answered my question.
Yeah. But when you get good at grafting, these guys that graft, they're at a 90+%
Amazing.
success rate. And they're doing 500 trees a day.
Mhm.
So they're getting, at 95%, 5 times 5, you're getting 475 out of 500 trees to take per day. If you got 10 guys grafting for you, that's 5,000 trees a day you're making, you know what I mean? You're not gonna get 5,000 air layers. There's just not that much branches out there, especially if you're a nurseryman, because if you're a nurseryman, you're not gonna be like me that has 60 Monroe trees and 70 Choquette trees and 40 Marcus pumpkins. You're gonna have 2 of each, because you need to, see, as a fruit grower, I wanna have a few varieties that cover the early, mid, and late season. But if you're at a nursery, you only want 1 or 2 of everything. So you gotta dedicate your space to variety. And so if you've got your tree all clogged up with air layers, you're not gonna get as much budwood off of it to graft. And you're not gonna have this, you're just not gonna have product for your customers. Yeah. So I hope that answered your question, Ellen. Instinct 8991, you've noticed I often give fruit to people, or try a whole table of fruits with others, yes, which must cost quite a bit of money. Does it sometimes hurt, or are you able to ignore the cost? Instinct 8991 wants to know. Well, let me tell you something, Instinct 8991. The fruit is the lowest cost for me, in that the fruit is a fixed cost, right? Every year, I'm gonna pay a set amount of money to grow these trees, for the fertilizer, for the labor, for the trimming, the pruning, the weed kill, the mowing, everything we do. That's a fixed cost, okay? My variable cost is right here behind me, right? Every box of fruit I sell, there's a lot of labor. We gotta pick the fruit, we have to pack the fruit, we have to deliver it to the UPS, so that we have a labor cost. The more I sell, the higher that cost goes up. We also have the cost of shipping, UPS, which is not cheap, and it never seems to go down. They love to tell you, oh, temporary holiday rates take effect right after Thanksgiving, and then they never seem to go back down to what they were, And so, for me, the cost of the fruit is minimal compared to the cost of, so people say to me, hey, instead of buying, I'm single, I'm 105 pounds, I couldn't possibly eat, 8 to 10 pounds of avocado. Can you just sell me 1 avocado? Well, yeah, if I could lick a stamp, stick it on here, write your address and send it, you'd be fine. But in order for me to send 1 avocado, I still have to pay someone to pick it. We still have to, either us or pay someone to box it up, with us, pay UPS to ship it. It's gonna cost you the same as if you bought the 10 pounds. Mm-hmm. So, in most cases, when we share the fruit, it doesn't really hit us in the wallet. Now, 2 years ago, we had a shortage of mangoes. It was a horrible mango season. We hardly ate any mangoes. We didn't make any mango jam. We didn't make any mango freeze pops, because every mango I had, customers wanted to buy it. I mean, I was carrying them like babies.
It was so sad.
So that particular year, we had a shortage, but like, when people come to the farm for a tour, look, I'm sorry if any of my colleagues are on this live stream, but like, there's a lot of fucking cheap people in this business. I don't know what it is. They nickel and dime people, I don't get it. If you come to my farm and I have like, let's say we pick and pack on Monday, and it's Friday, and we got a couple 100 pounds of mango left over. People come to the farm. I'm cutting that shit up. We're gonna eat it, man. We're gonna throw down, right? Mm-hmm. We're gonna make jam out of it. We're gonna eat it. A lot of my colleagues, I don't know what it is. They want to be taxing, what I mean? But you come here for a tour, you're gonna go home with your belly full, And so no, because if I give away this mame, if this is ripe and we eat it right now, I've already, like, that's a sunk cost, there's no marginal cost. But when, you know, no variable cost. But the more we sell, of course, that's when the variable cost kicks in. Now, and I'm sorry if one of you has already jumped ahead in the comments, because you're not gonna like what I have to say, but when people be begging, when people have their hand out, I don't give. Because no one ever just comes up to me and hands me $10,
No.
right? But they want me to be giving them stuff.
Why?
I don't know, and I don't like it. Don't be begging, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Work.
And so, but like when we have people over, like when we've had parties,
Yes.
I mean, people have tried to give me money at a party. I'm like, put that away, you're offending me. I'm about to throw your ass out offering me money, you know? Well, you have such a spread, you have a great band. Yeah, because you're my friend and I love you. And this is my way of enjoying it. I'm probably gonna forget your birthday. I'm definitely not gonna get you a Christmas gift. Don't even think about Valentine's Day, even if you're married. What'd you get for me for Valentine's Day this year? Nothing. I didn't even say Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's belated. But I am gonna throw a party every now and then and show my friends I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
that's
know?
what you do it.
Yeah. Okay. Charger. Yeah, we've been getting some thunder, man. It's been shutting the
Crazy.
lights out. Charger. Yeah, the rain has not knocked any flowers off your mango tree. Us either. We've been kind of checking on it. It's not been that crazy of a rain. It's good. Our gardening channel. How does your business adapt to economic crisis such as the incoming one? There isn't much anyone can do, but is there any precautions? What incoming one? What, you have information the rest of us don't have? I've been hearing about incoming financial crisis now for 18 months. And guess what's happened? Nothing. And if it does, so what? I'm going to do the same thing I did when we had inflation over the last 4 years. And I'm going to do the same thing I did in 2008 when we had when the financial markets crashed. And the same thing I did in 2003 when we were in a recession. And the same thing I did in 1999 when the tech market crashed. Just going to fucking live my life the way I live my life. If prices go up, if UPS costs more, I got to raise my price. If people can't pay for the fruit, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? That's coming. Yeah, okay. It's coming. Give it 2 more weeks to flatten the curve, you know? Like, talk to me when it's here, you know?
Exactly.
Charger eats mostly cooked meats, but you will eat steaks raw. I haven't really gotten there with meat. I can do sushi. I guess having worked in a restaurant when I was a kid, it's drilled into my head, like, don't eat raw meat.
No.
You know?
No.
Oh, and back to our gardening channel. I will tell you this, though. There have been times where the UPS has gone up significantly and we've not raised ours.
No.
You know, because I really...
No.
No. Like, now, over Christmas, the whole West Coast, I had boxes that cost more than the fruit cost. Like if I was sending to Washington or Oregon, some places in Arizona are very remote. Over Christmas time, the shipping was more than the people paid me for. I lost money on those boxes. But you know what? They're my beloved customers. They're people who've been buying from me for years. Or they're a new customer who I want to buy from me for years. And that's the way it goes. I put a price up. One of my inputs changed. You know, that's how it is. Oh, back to our gardening channel. Like tariffs. Everyone was like, oh, the tariffs are going to cause inflation, blah, blah, blah. You know who's paying the tariffs for avocados? Dominican Republic. We just dropped what we pay them by 10%. So if they were getting $1 an avocado last year from us, they're getting $1 from us this year too, but they're only getting 90 cents of that dollar, and the importers are keeping 10 cents for the tariff. So the Dominican Republic is eating that because they've been making so much money off of us that they could stomach a 10% drop in price and still make profit, you know? And so I'm just never one to like be certain that something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Because then you get it in your head it's gonna happen, and then it doesn't happen, but you think it is happening, and then everyone walks around talking about these days, oh, the state of the world now, or they'll put a little picture on, you know, me, and it's them, and then the state of the world, and like it's a house on fire. I've been hearing that shit since I'm 6 fucking years old. You know? Oh, oh, the way things are now, they're exactly the same as they always were. You want what's best for you, I want what's best for me. We're gonna try to maximize our utility, our pleasure, and our efficiency in life, and that's the way it's gonna be. It's gonna keep being that way for the next 500 years.
Yep, we're human, that's what we do.
1,000 Eyes, what's up, Bubba? Much love from the west coast of Scotland.
Aww.
All right, the hometown of my grandmother, Bessie Balliet, who I've named the Balliet variety mango after. Hill Joint, where are you located? We're in Homestead, Florida, which was answered by Madison. Thank you, Madison. And another hi from Australia. We got people watching from Australia. Ryan Fried Fish, California is ridiculous. You've lived here your whole 50 years and it keeps getting worse. I mean, look, we visited California. It's like the landscape,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
The neighborhood's gorgeous. The
Yeah.
restaurant's amazing. But yeah, I'd have a heart. Like I'm watching like some stuff about like rebuilding the Palisades fires in Malibu and stuff like that, and now I live in an agricultural district, so I'm on the other end of the spectrum. We've got a lot of leeway out here, what we can do in terms of building structures and you know, running pipes and irrigation and stuff like that. But it just blows my mind that it's been over a year and people still haven't even gotten permits yet. Like they don't even have their permits to rebuild their houses. It's been over
That's
a year.
crazy.
Yeah, it's rough. However, you do have like a very nice, well-preserved state, you know? I mean, except for like the real inner city where it doesn't seem real clean. Like California
general.
just seems like a very clean, crisp, safe place to live. And I'm not gonna throw shade on, I think any city's gonna have its dangerous places,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Avocado kayak girl, she's not ultra late. Oh wow, Charger, an avocado survived up in Melbourne. That's great. Boy, your avocado trees are doing well, re-baking and hot. So I'm guessing, yeah, you're in California. Are you the one that just said you were in California? No, that was Brain Fried Fish. Greater Good, his son probably wears his Sleepy Lizard shirt in
Aw.
Oregon. That's awesome. We sold 36 shirts last week.
Yes, I'm so
I couldn't
proud.
believe it. I
That
usually
was
do
so-
like a month. I did 36 in a week.
That was amazing.
I love it. I can't wait till I see one out in the wild.
Yes.
What do I think about growing Maria Black in a large pot? I'm cool with that mid-Fort Myers. Maria Black is not a huge, it's not gonna grow huge. You know, that's a smaller avocado. It's also a very late season avocado. You could still be eating them now. I'd say go for it. Greater Good, your polyps are looking good. I have only 3 polyp trees, and they were flowering pretty good last time I checked on them. Barrow Boy is growing heaps of seeds to graft the trees. Smart. And I guess, are you in California? Let us know. P to the B, I-70, I remember you. You have a random question. Do we have to graft the original species? Meaning, could you graft an avocado on mango? No, you cannot. It has to be within species. Now, in citrus, you can put grapefruit on lemon, lemon on orange, orange, lemon, and grapefruit on orange. You know, you could have multiple on one. So I don't know if citrus is I don't understand the biology because I don't really know much about species. But for like our tropical fruits, it has to be within species. Avocado with avocado, mango with mango.
You're right.
Mamey with mamey, sapodilla with sapodilla. Yeah, it's got to be within the species. You know? Yeah. Alex, your top 2 mangoes seem to be growing their stems, but the tap roots might be rotting. Well, you're in. I always forget. Belgium? No. Bulgaria. You're not really supposed to be growing mango in Bulgaria, but you're pulling it off, so give yourself a pat on the back. And you're supposed to be studying. Marcus Welby retracted his message. Now I want to know what you were saying. Tell me, Marcus. P to the V, you visited us about a year ago and we treated us to an amazing tour of your farm and was extremely generous with sharing multiple fruit, and you love the hospitality. I'm so glad that's the way that comment went. Because I was hoping it wasn't going to be like, we came to visit your farm and you charged us an arm and a leg for fruit, because we don't do that.
No.
We don't do
Never.
that.
Never.
In fact, like people are pushing money at us half the
And we're
time.
like, no.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're usually going home with something when you come to visit the farm here. Do we sell the trees? We don't. We only sell the fruit. Marcus wants to know, okay, so here's what he was saying. Do we have any plans to plant any new avocado varieties? I don't have any plans to plant them, but I would love to taste the charwill. I just hear such great things about the charwill. I'm not sure if it's patented. If it's patented, then, you know, I don't want to plant it or sell it, but I would love to eat one. Greater Good loves visiting and hearing the stories you'll never hear on YouTube. I know. World Peace Walker, she's mesmerizing, looking into your eyes, Mr. Lizard. Well, you know, she's coming around. We've been married about 29 years, so she's starting to get used to me.
Love him.
Go. Oop your nose for you. Our gardening channel, you completely understand. It's just the uncertainty of Hormuz being closed off. I hope the best happens anyhow. I mean, yeah, listen, if you think the Hormuz Straits are going to be closed off, run to your fertilizer store and buy you 20 grand worth of fertilizer right now. Right now. And then if it's closed off in 6 months, that fertilizer is probably going to be 2 times or 3 times the price.
Mm-hmm.
And sell it. Like there's a bull market everywhere. There's always an opportunity to make money, you know? I mean, here's what's going to happen. They block, right now, just the fear of Hormuz being blocked off is raising oil, right? Let's say oil gets to 160 a barrel. When you feel ready, short it, you know, and see what happens. See what happens to the price, right? Or maybe short, or maybe buy it now, right? And hope it goes up and flip it when it gets, you know, sell it when it gets real high. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if things could go good, things could go bad, price go up. There's always like a way. There's always like oil going up. It sucks for filling your car, but it's great if you sell oil. And you don't have to be in the petroleum industry. You can go buy a bunch of oil futures right now, today. If you, my friend called me the other day. She's like, oh, she heats her house with oil up in Pennsylvania. And they wanted to buy oil, and the guy who sells them the oil says, well, why don't you wait? It's really expensive right now. Wait till the war is over, maybe the price will go down. And I said there were 3 things about that. I said, number one, the guy sells you oil. He would rather you pay more for your oil than less for your oil. So I don't know why, I mean, unless he's a stupid businessman like me, that we do tend to neglect profit for customer satisfaction sometimes. But we can afford to do that because I kind of already made, you know, did good in another business in another life. But anyway, that was number one. You know, why would your guy be telling you not to buy oil now? Number 2 is, like, what do you think is going to happen? If you think the price of oil is going to go up, buy it now. If you think the price is going to go down, wait and buy it later. We're coming to the end of winter. You're not going to have to heat your house all that much. But then I said, how much is it to fill your tank? She said, $400. I said, okay, 400 bucks. Let's say it goes up 20%. It's going to cost you $480 to fill your tank. You're going to pay $80 more. Let's say it goes down 20%. It's going to cost you $320 instead of $400 or $480, whatever. Who gives a shit? It's not like you're buying $10,000 worth of oil every day, and that 10% is going to add up and it's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're looking to save 80 bucks? That's if it goes up 20% on $400? Who cares? That you go out to dinner and spend 80 bucks. And it's probably not going to go up 20%. Your heating oil might go up 10%. So you pay $440 instead of $400 one time in the year. Like, really? Like you're that keyed in on the news and hung up about that you fail to see. You're talking about 40 bucks. Like the old people that live next door to my dad. Like they love to talk about where the cheapest gas is. It might be 3 cents a gallon cheaper. Let's say your car holds 20 gallons. You save 60 cents. Like what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, like start worrying about numbers when there's like 4 digits in it or 5 digits in it. But when there's like 1 digit in the number or it's decimal points, don't worry about it.
No.
You're like the price of gas could go up 9 cents, 10 cents a gallon. If you buy 50 gallons a month, it's $5. You know what I mean? Get a little perspective, prioritize what you're gonna focus. So back to, I hope I didn't make them mad. Our gardening channel. Yeah, if you feel that certain that the Straits of Hormuz are gonna close, buy you some oil futures and run the Diamond R fertilizer and just load up your backyard with pallets of fertilizer. And the rest of us farmers are gonna be coming to you because we ain't gonna be able to get fertilizer. And you're gonna make a fortune. You'll never have to work again. And then you'll be happy for it. There's always opportunity. Like, I love chaos. Like, when I worked for the corporate world, you get your promotions during reorganizations. That's when everything is happening. You know, when it's business as usual, people coming in, someone has to quit or create, do sexual harassment and get fired or something for like the next job to open up. But when there's turmoil and there's a reorg and there's people getting laid off and new managers coming and that's when the opportunity's there. That's when you go for it. That's the way I do it. Anyway. Let's see, who do we have here? Regal Consulting. You're a consultant. What do you think of what I just said? I mean, I don't know what you consult in, but consultants usually think that way. I'd like to know what you have to say. And you got 22 acres in the Panhandle. What would I recommend for a small farm? You know what, I really don't know. We have a friend that moved to the Panhandle, and 2 years ago, you guys had like 4 or 5 inches of snow, and it actually lasted a couple days. Remember,
Wow.
Danny?
Yeah.
Like, okay, it'll snow in Florida from time to time, but like people were making snowmen in Pensacola. And I really, almonds? I think almonds grow up. No, pecans.
That makes sense.
Look into pecans. I think pecans grow up there, but I'm not 100% sure. Barrow Boys in Australia. Okay, yeah, they do grow the reed also in Australia. And you did say you were from Australia. Sorry. I'm a little hyped up. It's probably this coffee. What'd you put in this coffee?
Just
Is it like
coffee.
a double coffee?
No.
I mean, listen to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's because I got to go to sleep yesterday.
Good.
1,000 Eyes in One. Tom, do you know where in Scotland my grandma Valley was from? You know what, I don't. And that is such a great question because my son asked me the same question when we were out fishing 2 weeks ago. He's like, do you know what, like, did they come from a village? Did they come from a town? I said, no. And he's like, how can you not know that? And I said, my mother doesn't even know that. And it was her mother. But, like, in that time and place, first of all, technology-wise, when you moved from Scotland to America, you got on a boat, hopefully you survived the voyage, you came through Ellis Island, hopefully they spelled your name right when you got here, and then you took a train or a stagecoach or you walked, because they didn't have cars yet. I mean, she got here in 1908, maybe there were some cars, but there wasn't roads, like there wasn't like automobile traffic. She probably took a train to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and that was it. Like, there was no going back for, like, Ruth's graduation or christening, like nowadays.
That's crazy.
Like nowadays, you can get a discount, you move here from Guatemala, you can get a discount flight back to Guatemala, fly down on Friday, come back Sunday, you're at work Monday.
Yeah.
When you left Scotland, and my grandmother would be about 118 years old now, but when you left Scotland in that era, that was it. It was permanent goodbye to everybody. Maybe you send a letter back and forth.
That's crazy.
And also in that, like, think about it, there weren't even pictures. People don't take pictures, I saw a TikTok the other day, the guy showed 4 pictures of a woman. He goes, I used to be married to her. I have 4 pictures of her. And like, I believe that, like, my dad would take pictures. But like, he'd get like a roll of 24 pics. And he might use some at Christmas, some at our birthday, some at Easter, some at 4th of July. And then there might be 1 picture left at our Little League game. Like, here, let me just take this last picture so I can get this film developed. And there'd be a year on one little roll of 24 pictures.
No way.
6 or 7 of which came out blurry and you couldn't even see.
No way.
Wait, no pictures. I mean, I'm sure it was like that for you guys too. And your dad's a shutterbug.
Yeah, my dad is
But with
crazy.
film, where were you going? And
You're
culturally,
right. Oh, you're right.
but like culturally, we weren't taking pictures all the time. There was no internet, there was no WhatsApp, there was no way for them to keep in touch. And so it's just so interesting, like when they left Scotland, they came to Scranton, Pennsylvania to work in the coal mines, and that was it. Like, now this is what we do till the day we die, you know?
Mhm.
And now I know they did start sending some letters around World War II because her family was wiped out. The Germans killed them in the bombings, in the Battle of Britain. And that's all, like that's the only, she tells stories about the boat. She don't remember it because she was too little, but her older sisters would tell me about coming across on the ship. And then they did talk about the Battle of Britain and how like all their cousins and aunts and uncles and stuff got blown up when the Germans, you know, dropped bombs. It was called the Battle of Britain. And most of their stories were about the here and now, what they were dealing with, you know, in America as coal miners. And I'm getting off on a tangent here, but my grandmother was also very interesting because she said, you know, a lot of her friends always talk about the good old days. She had an 8th grade education. She dropped out of school in 8th grade to go work topside. The girls didn't go down in the mines, but she would sort coal above the mine. And she'd say, give me the new days. I love my microwave. She's like, I used to have to pluck chickens. Like when you wanted chicken, you had to catch one and pluck it. Go out in the coop, you know, grab it, wring its neck, and pluck it. And she's like, I can take something out of the freezer and I'll put it in the microwave and we're eating in 15 minutes. She loved, you know, technological advancement, you know. But we never, I don't know how I'd even find out what city they came from. Their name was Reed, if that helps.
Pretty amazing, babe.
Yeah, Mini Mango, loving the avocado lights and the fruit, thank you. Chargers, lucky to have a lot of homemade diesel and use only compost for your garden. Yeah, Charger is definitely environmentally friendly. Yeah, definitely an environmentally friendly guy. Let's see, Marcus Welby, do I plan to have a booth at Mango Fest? I do not. I'm just gonna be a attendee like you. You know, our business model is to sell our fruit through guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. We've tried a few alternative, you know, going to fruit stands or farmers markets or selling out of our farm here or going down on the road. And it never, we always make less money on the weeks we do that because every minute we're doing that, we're not filling orders and shipping from our website. And we're neglecting our real customer base. And plus, I love you guys. And I loved last year at Mango Fest. People were asking me to sign mangoes, you know, and walking around and seeing people and putting faces to the names, to the YouTube names, because I didn't know people's real names. I had an occasional customer who I know their real name because I have to ship them fruit. So I want that flexibility to be able to just cruise and walk around. I don't want to be tethered to a booth all day. But also, you know, what am I going to do? Truck 2,000 pounds of mango up to the thing, sell them at $5 a pound. What are we looking at? 10 grand. Subtract out, you know, the cost of renting the booth, which I don't know what that would be. Subtract out whatever I have to pay the people to help me. Subtract out, I don't even know where you store 2,000 pounds of mangoes the night before or what. You know, it's just not something I really want to get into to make 3 or 4 grand. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Plus, I grow the classic Florida mangoes, and I unapologetically grow those mangoes because that's what I love. You know what I mean? Like if I was a beer drinker, I'd be a Budweiser drinker. I would be drinking the pale ales and the, you know, the IPAs and the foofy, you know, small batch stuff. I'd probably be a Budweiser or a Coors Light drinker. You know what I mean? And with the mangoes, I grow the Kit, the Kent, the Glen, the Valencia Pride, the Hayden, the Van Dyke, the Palmer, you know, the standard, delicious, mango flavored Florida mango. You know, that's what we grow. Now I do have Namdok Mai and Aklung and, you know, some other specialty ones here and there, which are just freaking amazing. But for the most part, that's what I grow. Well, you know, where am I going with 1,000 pounds of Kents at the Mango Fest when there's gonna be, you know, sunrise and orange sherbet and lemon zest, you know what I mean? I don't know, I feel like I'd sully the place with that, you know what I mean?
I get it.
But the main reason, I just wanna be free to chit chat
Yeah.
with our
We loved
customers
it.
and
We
stuff.
loved it.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Marcus Welby, I like to answer that. Howdy folks, howdy exotic. Brian Fried Fish, my wife is beautiful and absolutely adorable. She is.
Oh, thank
She's a
you.
cutie. She's a
Thank
cutie.
you.
Boop. Yeah. Yeah, toes. People like to see her toes. It gets us extra views.
Let me see. You see it?
Yeah. David 020218 says hi. Greater Good celebrated his 35th wedding anniversary. You gotta bring your wife with you next time you
Yeah.
come. Willis 3255 says glass half full. I mean, yeah, you know, there's, like I say, there's always opportunity. You know, I remember when the stock market crashed in 2008, which pissed me off because my house was paid off. But, and people who couldn't afford their mortgages, everyone, they got help. You know, the government stepped in and helped them, but they didn't do shit for people who lost in the stock market.
That's unfair.
You know, like if I didn't pay off the house and lost value on the house, I would've got money, but whatever, it is what it is. I remember being upset, cause like, it was a big hit. When that, in 2008, in 1 week, I mean, a 40%, 45% drop in the stock market, you're basically looking at almost your whole life savings, right, getting wiped out. But I also saw it I said, all right, let's go. Now we're gonna buy, boom, 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 and we're just gonna buy as this market recovers, you know? And so many people I know chickened out and they sold. Actually, this month in April, this year, in 2025, because we didn't hit April yet, in 2025, the stock market dropped about 1% to 2% for like 3 days in April. And similarly, everyone's like, oh, look what's happening, doomsday, look at the country's getting ruined. The stock market goes up and down 1% while you're taking a shit. Like that okay, 8%, let me know, something's going on. 1%, that happens all the time, right? But people were so freaked out by the news. People I know who don't know shit about finance. They don't know shit about shit. Some of our friends are pretty dumb. Are posting on Facebook about the disaster we're in, blah, blah, blah. My 401k lost money. Let me tell you something. If it's April and the stock market is down 2% and you lost money, that means you've only been paying into your 401k since January. Because even though the stock market was down 2%, it was still up like 10% from a year prior and like 20% from like 4 years prior, right? So if you lost money, it means you just started your 401k. The limit for a 401k is what, 15 grand a year? You're in April. You've put 5 grand in at most. You're down 2%. You've lost $100. Well, it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but people, like, they didn't understand that, right? But anyways, my brother's friend liquidated his 401k and stuck it all in bonds. We're up 16% since that little drop. 16%, and this idiot chickened out, bought a bunch of bonds, he's probably up 2%. The rest of us are up 16%. And if you bought your way in, if you kept buying as you were going up, you're up even higher. You made even more money, right? And so, yeah, when that stock market crash hit, I happened to be in Africa at the time. And I got back to America a lot poorer than when I left to Africa. But I said, opportunity, let's go. You know, you get that kick in the nuts, but then you just keep on going. Yes, Alex, that's thunder. We've been having a major thunderstorm all day. Our power went out a couple times. Caribe Exotic. Conflicts creates economic opportunity. You're absolutely right. You know? Oh, okay. Here, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. Yeah, I'm not going to try it. Hello from Armenia. You have seen our top list. Okay, what about avocados? Okay, on my top list for avocados, I can answer it much more authoritatively than when I'm talking about mango. Because mango, I'm wishy-washy.
Yeah, mango's.
It's like asking me who my favorite kid is. I mean, I only have one. It's like asking me who my favorite son's friend is, right? Ethan. Can I say you? You're my son's, my favorite, but then there's Chris.
Yeah.
There's
Jay.
your brother.
Jay.
There's Ricky. There's Jay, right? I love you guys all equally.
Yeah.
I can't pick one
Lay
over the
over.
other. Lay over. You know? The lesbian twins. Have you met the lesbian twins?
Nah.
There's
Nah, I've heard
lesbian
of them.
twins.
Yeah.
You gotta meet them.
They're cool.
Yeah. I love them all equally, right? And I feel that way about mango. Now with avocado, there's one that just stands out above them all for me, and it's the Lula. And I was kind of surprised that, I thought that was just like a me thing, but I did speak with a lot of other farmers. Lula is a very bad commercial variety because it's small and it has a huge seed, so there's not a lot of flesh. There's just a thin layer of flesh inside of a Lula. But, oh, and the skin gets very dirty. It gets a lot of anthracnose and scarring and scabbing on it. So it's also an ugly avocado. So the supermarkets don't want them because they're ugly and because there's a lot of pit versus flesh. But when you bite into that Lula, it's just different, right?
It tastes like bacon.
It tastes like bacon. Not a bacon avocado. It tastes like bacon. Like from a pig, right?
Yes.
It's so good. And I have a grove now. We only have about 5 Lula trees in it. But this year I'm going to sell Lulas. Last year I didn't sell them. This year we're going to sell
The avocado
Lulas.
tastes like bacon.
And we ate the shit out of those. And those, they're not an alternate bearer, but they might have like 1 or 2 good years and 1 or 2 they're not a consistent bearer. You never don't get any fruit, but you could have light years and heavy years. And last year we did happen to have a heavy year. I'm hoping to have one up. So Lula's definitely on top for me. Marcus Pumpkin, I love it. It's a sweet avocado. It's the opposite of the Lula in terms of it's huge. The seed is probably the same size as the Lula seed, but the Marcus avocado is like 10 times bigger than the Lula. So you get this big ring of flesh in the Marcus, and it's just got this creamy, sweet.
It's sweet.
And it doesn't, most avocados, you have just that little 1-day window. They're not ready, not ready, not ready, not ready, ready, too late. The Marcus, you got 2.5 days to eat it. Also not a good commercial variety. Why? Because it's huge, and it has ridges like a pumpkin. And so when you're picking them, I gotta use 2 hands. Now some of the medium-sized ones I can get with one. When I'm picking Marcus, my forearm hurts. You gotta use 2 hands. So it's real slow to pick them, because like when I'm picking regular avocados, you're Marcus, you're like, so it's slow. And then we put them in a bag, in a bin, like on the end of a cherry picking machine. And because they have the ridges, they lock up like gears. So then when you go to dump them in the bin, they're just locked in the. So they're not exactly the most efficient. They're not easy to pack. And grocery stores, much like they don't want and they stay clean. They don't get dirty like a Lula. They're gorgeous avocado. Right?
Beautiful.
But the grocery stores also don't want huge avocados because people would rather buy like 5 medium-sized avocados than 1 huge one. So Marcus is another one of my favorites, not a good seller. Another one of my favorites, but also has the too much pit, not enough flesh ratio problem, is the Brogdon. And the Brogdon has shiny black skin that you can eat. It's like eating an apple. It's a very thin skin. You don't even taste it. You don't even feel it. You know what? It's not like eating an apple because apple skin gets up in your gums. It gets between your teeth. It's a little bitter. Brogdon is more like when you're eating a pear and the skin is just part of the flesh. And you could just eat it like an apple. But it too, like your teeth hits the seed pretty quick. And it tastes like pistachio nut. They're freaking good. I planted 11 trees of Brogdon, and I just ripped out 1, 2, 3 sick trees, and I'm going to replace them with Brogdon. So we're going to have 14 Brogdon trees. So those are my tops. What about you, Noe? Your top avocados? Oh, I know what you're gonna, well, go ahead.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
I think I do. Go ahead.
This year, well, last year, it changed. It's the Marcus Pumpkin. Like, that's my top one. The Marcus Pumpkin.
Yeah.
And I love the Miguel Surprise of Night.
Yeah.
I really like how hard it is, but I love the flavor of the Miguel.
The Miguel is not a guacamole avocado.
No,
It's
no.
a thick,
For salads.
dense,
Yeah.
it holds its shape. It's not spreadable.
Yeah.
It's different. And
It's
I
delicious.
love, and it's a pretty.
Delicious.
It's got like
delicious.
different shades of green, even the yellow, like
Such a
stripes,
pretty
almost like a like a watermelon has like
Yes,
stripes.
yes,
It's got
yes,
those.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
it's such a great avocado.
Those are, and I can tell you, I love the Lula, and the Lula used to be my number one, but after trying that Marcus Pumpkin, I just fell in love with that avocado. It's just the sweetness of it. Like, you know, you're eating it and you're like, how can an avocado be sweet but also taste like an avocado? Your brain gets all confused. And it's so freaking delicious. Can you say that?
Yeah.
So that's for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Marcus Pumpkin.
Ethan is awesome. What do you say to that, Ethan?
I appreciate it.
Ethan appreciates your comment. The Metro North Traveler 7772 says Ethan is awesome. And then Alex says, as an introvert, you don't like chaos, but it depends on the circumstances. And now you're going to go to sleep. Good, because you got a test tomorrow. Occam's Razor, I love your name. We've been through this before. Good to see you. You got 4 avocados in the ground this week. Beta, Diamond Head, Victoria, and Loretta. I know the Beta, and I know the Loretta. I don't know the Diamond Head and Victoria. Sounds like Australia also. Forgive me, Occam. I know we've spoken before. Are you also in Australia? We grow the Loretta here. Very interesting, oblong avocado, kind of asymmetrical. Yeah, that's great. Brian Fried Fish, emotions destroy more wealth than anything else. Guilty of it yourself. It is really hard to resist the urge to like panic sell. In 2005, I think it was, I read an interview with the mutual fund manager of the best performing mutual fund from 1985 to 2005. So over that 20-year period. I might be off plus or minus a year. The 20 years was based on when they first started offering mutual funds rather than buying individual stocks. I want to say 1985. This guy started his fund in 85. So they basically looked at every mutual fund in 2005 that was still functional, still alive, and had started at the beginning in 1985. And they interviewed the guy who had the best performing, in other words, if you put $1 in every mutual fund, that dollar was worth more in his fund than any other fund, right? More people lost money investing with him than made money. Why? Because when things were good, they were hyped and they would buy. Well, they missed it. It's already high. And then when things were bad, they would sell, and they sold on dips. And obviously, if you bought on the dips and sold on the highs, you'd have done great. But you can't do that because you can't pick that, right? So the deal would have been, if you put $1 in, you'd have done better than any other mutual fund for that 20 years. But more people lost money in the best performing mutual fund than made money for that very reason. It's all emotion. And I was a salesman all my life, and I could never get through to the engineers and the PhDs and stuff, that like selling is about making people feel comfortable. You know, it's like trying to catch a rabbit. If there's a rabbit out in your backyard, you run out the back porch and run down the steps, and he's gonna take off, right? But also, if you try to sneak up on him, if you just keep sneaking, you're eventually gonna get too close and he's gonna take off. So you gotta like know when to sneak and know when to pounce. And one of the best pieces of advice, there was a guy, I think his name was Mark Haynes. He used to be a finance newscaster. And he used to say, I don't care about the first 20% or the last 20%. I want the 60% in the middle, you know? And everyone wants like oh, they want to time the market and, you know, get in on the ground floor and get out on the top floor. And he was like, I don't care if I miss the ground floor. I don't care if I get out before the top floor. I want that nice fat 60% in the middle. And you do that across a lifetime, you're gonna do great, you know? You'll have enough money that you could make $1 million farming by buying a farm for $2 million. That's a joke. What's the best way to make $1 million? Buy a farm for $2 million. Who asked? Yeah, Charger, you haven't heard of the bacon? There is a bacon variety avocado. I'll see if I can get one for you. Adrian Chittick, is my farm available to pick your own fruit when it's in season? I mean, yes and no. We don't own a you-pick farm.
No.
But when people come for tours, you know, we'll walk around with a
Yeah.
picking pole,
Yeah.
let people pick the
Always,
fruit if
yeah.
they want to. You know what I mean?
That's what we do.
But not like as a business model. We don't even have a retail location.
No.
I mean, you could ask Charger and Greater Good and anyone else who's been here, you can't even find this place. Yeah, it's a terrible location for
It
retail.
is.
But yeah, I mean, we let people pick their own fruit all the
Yeah.
time when they
They
come
love
to
it
visit.
though.
Yeah.
They don't want to leave.
Qualky, it's so cool to catch the live, thank you, but at 72 minutes past, you probably have to click on the replay for the first part. You didn't miss much, I was being grumpy. Adriana Chick, can you send me some money in New Jersey? Oh, some mame, I'm sorry, it was a mis-
Money. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, all you gotta do is go to guacfarm.com and order a box.
Yeah.
guacfarm.com. We ship to New Jersey all the time. I love shipping on the East Coast because I know the box is gonna get there fast. You know? Washington, some places in Arizona, believe it or not, some places in Wisconsin are very remote, you know? But like Jersey, New York City, oof, those boxes get there right away. And once again, that's guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. And let's see what else we got here. Christian Sejas, we do sell avocado. Okay, Christian's comment is, you don't sell avocado scions anymore. A scion is a cutting from a branch, and he's saying we don't sell them anymore. We do sell them, they're out of season right now. And so right now the trees are full of flowers. And so the buds, you know, they've already flowered. So there's nothing really on the trees that you can harvest and graft right now. On years that we do sell budwood, we put it up in the summer and then we ship it around Thanksgiving. So check back in the summer. Now, we don't sell scions or budwood every year. It depends on our pruning schedule. If I'm gonna do a hard prune, then I'll sell scions because, you know, I'm pruning away all those branches anyway. And we're gonna get new growth. On years that I don't prune, particularly hedge, on those years I don't sell cuttings because I need that wood. I need those branches to produce flowers, to produce fruit. So check back in the summer, guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. Tim Nichols from Venice, Florida. How you doing? Tim Nichols 441. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Jose Serrano, Joe Serrano. Your original username means fetch in Qualky. So Nahatwal. That's one of those what do you call it? Like a Mayan or an Aztec language,
Yeah,
right?
is
that what that is? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of, we hear that all the time here, you know. In fact, one of our best guys, he never learned Spanish nor English till he was 12 years old, and he learned it here in Homestead, Florida.
He's amazing.
And he not only speaks, I don't know if it's that language. He's from Mexico, so I don't know what language would have been spoken in Mexico. You know, they call them dialecto or whatever, dialects. He's a musician. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he
Really?
sings in that language too.
What?
Yeah, he's gonna try to get me a tape of
You gotta be kidding me.
Hand to God.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Hand to God.
I gotta
Yeah.
see that. I gotta
Yeah.
see that. How exciting.
Yeah, and then there's also a lot of the Guatemalan native languages. Again, I don't know the name of them, but yeah,
That is super
yeah,
cool.
yeah, and you hear it around Homestead all the time. you know.
Supermarket everywhere.
Yeah, cool. I love it. I find it
It's like a
so
different
interesting.
world.
Yeah, Yeah. We were at a party last week with some people that
Mhm.
only spoke dialect. Again, I don't know which ones. There was at least two different ones, who needed translators. You know,
That's
like if you didn't speak Spanish, you needed two translators. You needed English to Spanish, Spanish to that language to be able to communicate. It was cool. Thank you for the answer. You're gonna have to show your first avocado to me from a pot when you have them. That's great. Is there any way to get something from us outside of the U.S.? No, I can't. I will never clear customs.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Qualky, there is a bacon avocado. We grow them here in Florida. Oh, awesome. Marlon Dell got a t-shirt like the one we're wearing. Thank you. Yeah, they're very comfortable and
They
form
are.
fitting, right? If you hit the gym, get you a little pump, they're great. Charger, when we prune, we shred. So we stack inside the rows, and then we just put a shredder attachment on a skid steer, spin that sucker up, and it's like nothing was even there. It's like nothing. You can have well, not your height, my height. You can have a stack of trees and branches. I mean, when Hurricane Irma hit, we filled up every other row in our farm. We did every other row so you can get trucks up and down the main road. We're full, and the piles were taller than me. I mean, we were throwing over our heads. And when we brought the shredder in, it's nothing. It's powder. It's all that's left on the ground. You know, there might be every now and then, you know.
You're right, like
But
powder.
yeah, it's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it just boom, you just go over it 3 or 4
Scary.
times. I've done it. I mean, we could bring down a whole. You know what I'm talking about. You know, we can bring down. I brought down an avocado tree one time.
Really?
Oh, I felt so fucking powerful. It was the best. I've driven boats and Harleys, but that thing.
It's scary.
Yeah. I mean, you could
You gotta
drive.
be a
You could go
man.
right. You could go right through the wall of a house with that thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal. Oh yeah, Charger. I mean, peer through, go tiptoe through some of our videos. You'll see I have some coverage of it, but like you could take out a 30-foot tree with one. You just put the arm of the skid steer up and you just, just like a chainsaw. You want to keep the RPMs high, and you just get it going like a helicopter. And then it slows down. You back off. Oh, it's the best, man. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, you could use a wood chipper in a yard. I mean, you wouldn't want to bring a whole shredder.
No.
I mean, the tracks of the skid steer would mess up your yard and mess up any concrete or walkways you have. A chipper is perfect for that, but we could never. I mean, you wouldn't even finish by the time it'd take you a year. I mean, let's see. Adele could never spot the notch where it was grafted. Should be able to actually see it. You're wondering if it's just from seed or an actual graft. Are you talking about a small tree like this kind of diameter in a pot? Or are you talking about a big tree in your yard? If it's a big tree, if you moved into a house that had a fairly large trunk, it could be hard to spot the graft, or even a medium trunk, because over the years, like, stuff falls out of the tree and the soil kind of builds up. It might be up over the graft. But like anything like this big around or less, you should be able to spot a graft. If you're talking avocado, I'm trying to think with mango, it's not this way with mango, but with avocado, if the tree just goes straight up like a telephone pole, that's very often a sign that it's not grafted. And the grafted trees tend to like branch out because not only are they grafted and there's a scar where they're grafted, but a grafted tree, people knew what they were doing and they took care of it. They pruned it properly and they encouraged lateral growth. A lot of people who planted a seed in their backyard kind of planted the seed, the tree just grew. Since then the house has been bought and sold a few times. Now there's a 20-year-old, 25-year-old tree that's just like a telephone pole. So, if it's got that growth characteristic, it very well could be a seedling. Johnny Avalon wants to come for a tour. What's the best time of year? Late June. I mean, that's when mangoes and lychees and you have avocado. I mean, that jackfruit, mango, lychee, maybe white support. I mean, that is just, and you don't just come here. I mean, you go to Robert is here fruit stand, you go to Rubio's fruit stand, you go to Lara Farms and sample what he has. Maybe you want to like really longan. Well, no longan. Well, longan naturally is August, but people can trick it, and so there is longan fruiting all year long now. You know, so late June, a little before the 4th of July, or a little after the 4th of July, if you don't mind sweating, because it's as hot as, I mean, unless you go to India, I don't think you're going to feel that kind of heat like we have here. It's insane. Adriana Chick will order a box with half mamey and half avocado. That stinks. I don't offer that. And I don't think I'll be able to.
That stinks because I don't offer that.
Well, but there's a reason.
I know, but it's funny how, like, oh, that's what I want to order. You're like,
Yeah. But there's a reason, and that's because the seasons don't overlap.
yeah, they don't.
Now, I do want half mamey, half mango because the seasons overlap. But with avocado, unless we get a very early Donny crop, now the mamey season goes right through the fall, but I have to stop shipping them around the month of June, and I'll tell you why. Right now, you pick one of these mameys, it's going to be every bit of 10 days minimum before you can eat it. They have a tremendous shelf life. But as the season progresses, and particularly when we get to the Key West variety, which is like late spring, early summer, they only maybe have 3 to 5 days off the tree. But then that's on your counter. That's if you go in your backyard, pick one and stick it on your counter. If you stuff it in a box, close it up, and that box is sitting in the back of a hot UPS truck, by that time of year, the whole United States is hot. In fact, it could be hotter up north than it is here sometimes, you know? It softens on the way, it softens in transit. And so we have to stop shipping, I learned that lesson the hard way, we have to stop shipping mamey around June. We can still sell it locally, I can still sell it to fruit stands, and I can still sell it to packing houses, but I can't sell it on guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com, because it won't make it. And like last year, we didn't even start picking avocados till the 4th of July. And we were already done shipping mamey. So I would love to be able to offer that to you, but I can't. Yeah, it's not possible. Sorry about that. And Adil loves the farm, loves the info, loves the farm. Still waiting in year 3. Yeah, it takes time. It takes time. Johnny Avalon says June it is. That's great. And yeah, Adil, you could get more grafts then. Charger. Okay, you've used the drum on a skid. Of course you have. I mean, yeah, I know you have. I mean, you've probably built your own. I mean, the guy's incredible. I mean, he's on our list. Like, if the apocalypse comes,
Totally.
we want him living here with us. Yeah. Oh yeah, you told me about those Brazilian peppers. You were itching all night, I'm sure. Those things are terrible. Adrian H3090, first time here. What's up? Welcome. Hit that little subscribe button, man. Join the club. I'm on my way to 250K. I feel like if I can hit 250,000 subscribers on you, I never thought I'd hit 100,000, and I did. Now I'm closing in on 250K, which is one way of looking at it is, okay, that's 250,000. Another way of looking at it is that's $250,000, which means I'm 25% to $1 million, which means, god dang, could 1 million subscribers happen? Which would be kind of cool, don't you think?
Yeah.
So anyways, welcome to the channel. Soul Capsule, cheers from California. We just spent a lot of time talking about California and how much we love your state. We love our customers from there, who we can't sell to anymore because the state of California won't allow fruit from Florida. But that ain't your fault. We'd sell to you in a second if we could. Alex Quiz Official is Marcus Pumpkin is having a growth flush right now. Great. We just checked the Grove yesterday, and the Marcus are doing great. I about near pooped my pants. One of my workers sent me a cell phone picture of rows and rows and rows of dead avocado trees.
Where?
Just east of our other grove.
Ooh.
You know, the grove that's like kind of, you know the one I mean.
No.
It's the one that's like where we get the markers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just east of it is another grove, and they lost over half their trees in the freeze.
Mm.
But when he showed me that picture, at first I looked, I was like, okay, that's not our grove. And then I looked closer, and I'll tell you why those trees died. The trunks are this big around. They're old. They're 40, 50, 60-year-old tree trunks. Probably 50, 60, 70-year-old tree trunks. But we do a thing called top working. We can change the variety. So I said earlier, this is a mango tree with a fruit punch scion grafted onto it. Well, this could grow to maturity. And in 30 years, if the guy who is growing this tree in his backyard or in his grove, well, it'll probably be someone who lives here because I'm going to be planting this tree, decides he doesn't like the flavor of the fruit punch, you can stump the tree at like waist height, and then when it grows new shoots, you can graft new varieties onto the tree. You can do that with avocados too. And so this place was top worked. They stumped all the trees in the grove, and they grafted a new variety on 2 seasons ago. So all those new branches that are growing are essentially baby trees, and they're very narrow. And now a nice big fat trunk with nice big fat branches, you got a lot of heat stored in that wood. Like, think if you put like, you know, a thin little, like a little piece of ham, like a thin piece of lunch meat in your freezer, versus like a big fat, you know, prime rib. How much longer it would take for the prime rib to freeze through versus a little piece of ham, you know? And so since all those branches are so thin, they had no defense against the freeze.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, if those trees were just their, you know, 70-year-old, whatever was originally grafted, they would have been fine. And in fact, the other, you know, the other mine is like that, and the other ones around there were fine. But they just got like wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And it's sad to see, you know.
So sad.
But our Marcus are doing great, our Miguels are doing great, so yeah. You know. I'm gonna be wrapping this up soon. Eat something.
Fajitas.
Oh yeah, fajitas. Oh, you know, Charger, it's funny when you say the mango sap is irritating if you're in the sun. I found a little feature on TikTok that shows you when people do like a stitch. They take your video and they put something else in. And I have a video that talks about how the mango sap hurts you. And all these people, especially from the Caribbean, and this guy was from the Caribbean, they love like to tell you, no, it doesn't. And their example is always, my grandmother has a mango tree, and I would pick the mangoes whenever I visited her. And it's like, yeah, if you go out in the backyard and pick 3 mangoes like a little girl, of course you're not gonna get, you know what I mean? But if you're out there, you know, 6 hours picking 10,000 pounds of mango, you and another guy, that's when it starts to hurt, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I got so many people telling me I was a pussy because, yeah. And the funny thing was, there was a lot of Mexican people going like, hey, you know, it doesn't do that if you're a Mexican. Well, everybody here who picks mangoes are Mexican. And when they pick mangoes, they put a hoodie and they tape the arms closed, they put the hood up, and they wear a mask and even safety goggles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so. Gualqui, our Monstera Deliciosa jungle is so beautiful. Yeah, we've been really pushing those. You know, we've been really growing a lot of those every year. Charger, do you think seed-grown trees are more likely to survive a freeze? You're wondering how many friends in Melbourne the avocado trees survived. I don't think seed-grown. Now, I just talked about this grove that was top-worked, so recently grafted. Of course, they're going to have a hard time in a freeze for the very reason I gave you, that the diameter of the branches is just so small that the freeze can, you know, get in there and kill the tree, right? But no, I think seed grown, as you know, it's a lottery. That seed is a combination of DNA of the mother tree and the father tree. And that DNA is the product of those grandparents and those you know, et cetera, on down the line for thousands of years. And we don't know what we're gonna get. So I would say if you planted 100 seeds, you're gonna get varying results. You're gonna get some that survive a freeze because their genetic code is to be cold tolerant. And you'll get others that are die because their genetic code is not cold tolerant. Even if it was the same variety seed, like if you took 100 of these choquette seeds and planted them all out, they're all gonna be unique, just like human beings might, you take women, right? Certain women are more genetically susceptible to breast cancer. Like if you have like 2 aunts and your mom had breast cancer, you're a very high candidate because of genetics. Doesn't matter if you smoke or eat right or exercise, the genetics just, that you've got that, proclivity. And so with avocado seeds, you really have no way of knowing. So I would say, people say, oh, but the genetic diversity, you're gonna find survivors. Well, so if this is the baseline, right here, you're gonna have trees that are susceptible to cold on this side. You be my baseline. And on this side, you're gonna have trees that are cold hardy. What makes it more likely you're gonna have one that's cold hardy over one that's not? Like, in the absence of anything else, you're gonna probably have as many that are cold hardy and as many that aren't. You know what I mean? Versus if you graft, we already know if they're cold hardy or not. And you can plant out a grove with cold hardy varieties. Now the rootstock, you're still never gonna know because it's from seed. So if it's like a freeze like that gets down into the dirt and down into the roots, but that's gotta be like a major freeze. All bets are off. But with grafting, you put Choquette, Lula, Oro Negro, Brogdon. Those have already been shown to be cold hardy. And so you're kind of increasing your odds that way. Now I think evolutionary speaking, adaptation over generations, right? If we had a freeze every year, it would kill off the ones that weren't cold hardy and only leave the ones that are cold hardy to breed. But now we're talking evolution, and people greatly oversimplify it. Evolution takes thousands of generations, Like people think like, just like in one generation, someone, a particular organism gets this DNA thing and it survives like COVID, Okay. So instead of 1 billion people dying of COVID, 999,999,999 die, and one lives. Well, there's no difference. 1 billion people still died. You know what I mean? And it takes like generations, thousands of generations of that type of thing to happen for an adaptation to take place. And I don't think living organisms are as good at that as a lot of people want to believe. And my proof of that is that 99% of the organisms that ever walked the planet are extinct. So if we were real good at adaptation, we'd still have saber-toothed tigers and, the puffin or whatever, and the giant land sloth and the carrier pigeon, right? And people will say, oh, well, it was humans that got rid of their habitat, and that's what killed them. It don't matter what it was. Believe me, most everything that wiped out from this planet wiped out millions of years before there was ever humans, And as far as adaptation is concerned, they don't care if it's a flood or a drought or a disease or humans. It works the same way, And so... long answer, Charger. Sorry about that.
Did that carry away? Oh, you're so sweet.
Well, we're going to wrap this thing up, so get me your last questions in. Qualky likes that we have chickens also and a broody hen. Oh, God love you. You sat through my whole 1 hour video.
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you why I did that, Qualky. The bamboo is just for decoration. I don't eat the shoots. We did used to make stuff out of the bamboo. I used to cut it and dry it,
You made a chair.
I made benches and tables and chairs and shelters and all kinds of stuff. Trellises. But I was like 40, 41, 42. And I'm 55 now. I can do one thing a day. I can do one hard thing a day these days, And so now it's just decorative. But on to your question about the chickens and the broody hens. So obviously you watched my 1 hour video. What I've noticed is that like social media preferences have changed. People either want to like watch, 15 seconds to 1 minute videos, scroll, or they want to hunker down on like a 2.5 hour video and watch some guy, pull an engine and rebuild it with no editing. You know what I mean? Just as they drift off to sleep, or watch like a documentary about the James Webb Telescope that's 90 minutes long, but that from like 5 to 10, 12 years ago, that 8 to 13 minute YouTube video that's, information rich and very tightly edited. People really aren't watching those. They're looking at the two ends of the spectrum. They're either gonna scroll TikTok or they're gonna watch, Theo Von or Joe Rogan spend 3 hours with somebody. And so I tried to do something a little more in-depth, a little slower, maybe something to even fall asleep to. So we'll see if that video gets legs. Is Marcus pumpkin good for guacamole? Alex Quiz Official wants to know. It is.
It is. It's actually real good.
Yeah. However, a Marcus is so good standalone.
You don't want to do that.
Or you don't want to add a lot of ingredients.
No. Maybe salt.
Some salt.
That's it.
Take however much garlic you put in guacamole and cut it to 1/10. Like however much you think you should put in, cut it in half and then cut it in half again.
Yeah.
And because we've done that with Marcus. Like you've come in and sat right down on the couch with a bowl full of Marcus guac.
And just salt. I just put salt and maybe a little bit of pepper. That's it.
That's it.
Because I didn't want
such a nice flavor.
It has such an amazing flavor.
Yeah.
People go crazy with it.
Yeah.
People go crazy.
I mean, it'll make a nice guac with all the ingredients.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
But the Marcus
You
is.
don't want to do that. Trust me.
It's like I don't drink wine. I'm not like a wine snob, but I think I'm at least cultured enough to know you don't put ice cubes in wine. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel that way about certain mango varieties that like I wouldn't want to put it in a shake or make a mango banana bread out of it. I just want to eat it as is. Now that said, I would love to make a few dozen bottles, jars of like coconut cream mango, lemon zest mango jam, sunrise mango jam, because the jam would probably be like the best jam you ever tasted.
Yeah.
But then you don't get to eat that mango just by itself, I guess the solution is just grow so much you can do both.
I agree.
Yeah. Charger has a friend in Alabama that has an avocado. Wow, I'd love to hear about that. He's building an engine on his patio. He's probably going to be done with it. This guy will be done with it in like 2 days and be the best engine ever built. Kayak Girl ended up getting interrupted instantly. Okay, Kayak Girl, we were about to say goodbye. But since you're back, tell us what's going on. What'd you get interrupted? What are you up to? What's going on these days, Kayak Girl? And then the rest of you ask me your last questions while we wrap up here because I need a little din.
And we gotta let our work.
Oh yeah, well Ethan is just wrapping up, look at it. He's just finishing up there.
Okay.
Ethan, when I helped you with the boxes today, did you like that or do you not like that?
That was good.
But then you don't get to work as many hours.
Yeah,
I'm stealing hours from you.
I enjoy both. Doesn't matter. Like
Okay.
myself and both. It was pretty
Look at
cool.
how-
Enjoy your company.
See how awesome Ethan is?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. I was a vice president for one of the largest corporations, and when I started working fresh out of college, a lot of these places had like development programs, leadership development programs and stuff, and I got myself into some good ones. I got myself into a really good one, an 18-month program. We went away for 1 week every 8 weeks. They really invested a lot into us, the group that went through that program. But as my career advanced, the company kind of dropped that, and they stopped developing talent, But I just kept doing it informally, and I always kept a pipeline of like the next 5 or 6 people. So if one of my guys quit, or if we had a reorg and I ended up with like 2 open positions, I always had like a pipeline of people that I'd say, listen, I'm going to interview for this job. I'm not going to lie to you, there's like 1 or 2 other candidates that have a leg up on you. But start interviewing and start getting to know my boss and other people, because like eventually I'm going to want you on my team, And if you have good people working for you, you're golden. you're bulletproof. And I'll take, from a skill set perspective, I'll take a guy who's 7 out of 10 than a 10 out of 10 that's an asshole. Because they disrupt the rest of the team, you know? And don't even respond to this, because I don't want you to accidentally say the person's name, but I had a guy who was a great salesman. And I would never fire him, because he made numbers. But goddamn was he disruptive. He was definitely a bad apple, you know? And instead of firing him, I clipped his wings, you know, I kind of did that to him, you know, I got him in a room and, you know, darkened the lights and you could hear thunder in the background. I said, listen, you gotta knock your bullshit off, you know? But when you have good people working for you, and how, since we've moved here, whether we hired people ourselves or sometimes you can outsource to like farm service companies, we've just always had the best. Like I would use, I'm working in a large corporation selling multi-million-dollar systems. You know, my employees were selling, you know, they had 20, 30, 40 million dollar sales quota per year. This is like the NBA of sales. These people weren't flipping cell phones. I mean, these people were, they had to be good. And there were times I would use as an example the work ethic of some, when I had both the farm and the job, the work ethic of some of our farm workers. You know what I mean? Because I'd be like, God damn, if I had her knowledge and background and his work ethic, oh, it would be on. You know what I mean? Yeah. It would be on. And it's good to have a good guy like that. You got to treat your people right. You know, the company I worked for was an American company, and then we got bought by a German company. And the Germans tended to be more like theory X management. That like, if you leave people do their thing, they're gonna scam you. They're gonna, you know, they're not gonna do. You know, they were on you all the time, and they didn't trust you, and they were always. But the American company I worked for was more theory Y management. That, you know, people want to do a good job. They want to succeed, and neither of those are. People are neither theory X nor theory Y. It's situational, you know. But one of the things that makes the situation is hiring. You got to hire the right people. And a guy told me one time, he says, hire slowly, fire quickly. And that applies to like romantic relationships. It applies to a lot of decisions in life. If you're going to make a big decision, make it slowly and carefully. And the minute you find out you made the wrong decision, just cut it loose, man. Whether it's a boyfriend or girlfriend, whether you, I married someone, 90 days later I divorced her. You know, I realized this was bad. Divorce, we're done, we're out, you know. That was like 30 years ago, maybe more, 35 years ago. Fuck, I'm getting old. Anyways, but when you got the right people, it's a piece of cake. And it ain't about training, it's about hiring the right people. The training is just skills, you know? People think they can like train this, no. Why do you think they have NFL Combine? You know what I mean? Why do you think sports have tryouts? Why do you think plays have auditions? They don't just say, oh, sign up for this play and we'll teach you to act. Sign up for this orchestra and we'll teach you how to play the oboe. They say, we're gonna look at 50 oboe players and we're gonna pick the best. And that's how you gotta be with your employees, you know? And we've had a few people that, I mean, I pick up the phone, like some of those, there have been a few stinkers that have come through. And I immediately, at the end of the day, call the caretaking company. They're never coming back. Your call doesn't surprise me, Tom. You're not the only one that's been complaining. You know what I mean? And so, that's all about you, Ethan. You're a good man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's see. Brain Fried says, thank you, you're welcome. Alex Quiz, when does the Marcus pumpkin flower? They're just starting to flower out. We pick them in, I think, September. Can't remember exactly. Usually around, we'll start taking pre-orders like in August, and we sell them in September. And they sell fast. That's our fastest selling. It's also our most expensive avocado, but it's our fastest selling avocado. People love them. I mean, there's people that sell them $100 a piece. $100 for one avocado, plus shipping.
That's great.
They offer payment terms for one fucking avocado.
Sad.
I mean, I've bought whole cars in cash without a payment plan.
How can they sleep at night?
I don't know.
Too much money.
But people are buying it. Okay, Avocado's friend Vanessa came over, and she had to go out to her car, and she was gone the whole time. Oh, bummer. Well, you didn't, I mean, you didn't miss much.
No.
You know, it's just us bullshitting.
Yeah.
Plants and root from India. You don't have many avocado farms, so you've planted avocado. That's great. But I'll tell you what, y'all got some damn good mangoes over there. Damn good mangoes. Charger agrees with me that good people are an asset. 1,000 eyes in one. Did I say Balliet or Balliol? Balliol is a very uncommon name. Okay. Balliet would be my grandfather. He was not from Scotland. That's a Pennsylvania Dutch name. Reed, which is a very common Scottish name. I don't know that it helps zero in on the region where they came from, but their last name was Reed. Avocado. Which seed do I think looks prettier, Mame or Canistel? Mame. The Mame, you can make furniture. If you could cut those Mame seeds into, look at this thing. They're like mahogany. Like you could make beautiful furniture out of them if they were big. You could cut them into planks. Alex wants to know, what year did we have our biggest yield of fruit? Well, avocado is going to be steady. I mean, even if you look at the yield of avocado here in South Florida, let me do this math real quick. Hold on a second. It's a plus or minus 2%, like in the whole growing area. Avocados tend to be steady. Now, so say that as a baseline. Now take 2023 mango season. Oh my God. We will never, ever have another season like it again. It was a dream. There were mangoes everywhere. Backyards, farms, up north, down south, out west, up in the sand up in Palm Beach County and in solid rock down here in Dade County. So if you add that in, I would say 2023 our best yield ever.
Yes.
Followed by the worst yield ever, 2024, where I didn't even want to drop a mango.
The trees were tired.
Yeah, yeah. What other fruits do we grow? Loquat, key lime, Monstera deliciosa, star fruit. We grew star apple, but we only have one tree. Last week I ground it out. I'm going to put this tree in its place because it hadn't been fruiting for 5 years, and then in the freeze all the leaves fell off, and it was just a good excuse to get rid of it. We had jujube. I got rid of the jujube on that same grinding session. Sapodilla. We got 2 kinds of mulberry. We have pineapples. We have lots of different kinds of bananas and plantains.
We have tomatoes.
Tomatoes, Everglades grape tomatoes. They're the size of a blueberry. They're delicious. I'm just forgetting. Star fruit.
Limes.
Limes, longhans.
Longhans, yeah.
Yeah. I think that about covers it. Loquat, which is delicious.
That's it.
And there's probably 2 or 3 things I'm forgetting. Yeah. But whatever. Avocado Kayak Girl has never seen a Mame seed. You're looking at one right now.
Right there.
Yeah. All right. Where is it? Over here somewhere. Right there.
Right there.
Look at that. Nice and shiny. They look like mahogany. They're gorgeous. Are there fruits we tried experimenting with that never grew well for our area? Not that I have experimented with. In fact, when we first moved here, my philosophy was, the guy that was here before us was a retired cardiologist, really smart guy, really meticulous guy. He even had some cactuses growing here. And I just said, listen, whatever I can just give water and a little bit of fertilizer, whatever lives, lives, whatever dies, dies, and I'm going to replace it with whatever's meant to live here. I tried growing corn in the garden one year, and I couldn't get it to produce. But corn does grow here. A lot of corn was damaged in the freeze. We saw acres and acres of burnt corn stalks. Horrible. Now, there are people trying to grow durian, but the average temperature ain't high enough here. I know people who are growing breadfruit. I don't know anyone that's harvested a crop yet. You gotta really keep them in a special greenhouse and keep the air temperatures up. I know this year, a lot of people learned a lesson about pushing when the freeze hits. You know, there's been people replacing citrus groves with avocado. And we've all kind of been down south sitting back saying, gosh, if they do get a frost or a freeze up there, let's hope it's 10 years from now, or 12 or 15 when those trees are nice and big and mature. But you know, a lot of these trees were in their 4th, 5th, 6th year, and they're gone, they're dead. And then of course a lot of backyard growers pushing a little bit with like guanabana, kaimito, the gummy worm, I forget what that's called, but that was really susceptible to the cold. And so, you know, a lot of people kind of pushed and maybe tried to grow, like in Central and North Florida, grow things that you really have to be a little further south, and they learned that a frost or freeze, you know, is devastating, you know, and that kind of thing. It's a freeze at this level, I think they're saying is like a 1 in 100 year event. You could live your whole lifetime and not experience what we just did in February, but frosts are every year up there, you know. How cold did it get where we are? It dropped to about 31, 30. I saw one guy, Julian, had a section of his grove that was 28. And that was only for an hour or two. You know, it wasn't near what people in Central and North Florida had to deal with. Oh, Avocado Kayak Girl's never seen one in person.
Oh,
You gotta order a box of Mame at guacfarm.com, guacfarn.com. Yeah, I'm here for you, Kayak Girl. You're always here for us. Why would I end the stream on you? But I am gonna have to end in a minute because I'm getting really hungry. Yeah, the video where they pranked me and made me try durian. And I said, does anyone have a dog to help me get this taste out of your mouth? Okay, you're such a girl, Avocado Kayak Girl. What I said was, does anyone have a dog so I could lick his asshole to get the taste off my tongue? That's how much I dislike durian.
You're not going to like what I'm going to say. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you come home and try to kiss me with that one.
It smells bad, but it tastes really, really, really good.
Alex wants to know where we are. We're in Homestead, Florida. And speaking of being here in Homestead, Florida, we're in Homestead, Florida, and right over there on the stovetop is some steak fajitas. And I'm about to drop over from like hypoglycemia.
I can see from this one.
Yeah. Yeah, if it was earlier,
His
I'd be
energy
taking a
is
nap
like,
right now.
yeah. I see it.
So I'm going to say my goodbyes. Thank you everyone for being here. And don't forget to go to guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. And while you go there to buy some fruit, I'm going to go have my fajita. And I will see you on the next video.